The spaceport city of Orion Haven was always noisy. Ships came and went every hour, carrying travelers, traders, and explorers to far-off worlds. Engines roared, lights flashed, and loudspeakers announced arrivals in a dozen different languages. But among the bright towers and metallic walkways, not everyone was busy chasing dreams. Some people lived quietly, fixing what others had forgotten. Evan Ross was one of those people. He ran a small repair workshop at the edge of the port. It was not much, just a few old machines, a workbench, and the smell of engine oil in the air. Most days he repaired cleaning bots, delivery drones, or scrap engines brought by people who couldn't afford replacements. He didn't earn much, but he liked working with machines. They didn't lie, they didn't complain, and sometimes they even seemed to listen. One late evening, when the sun had turned red behind the towers, Evan locked his shop and started walking home through the back alleys near the scrapyard. That was when he heard a weak metallic voice. "Please, assistance." Malfunction detected. He turned and saw something sitting beside a pile of rusted metal parts. It was an android, about human-sized but covered in dust and dents. Its right arm was half broken and one of its eyes flickered dimly like a dying light. The android tried to move, but its joints squeaked badly. Evan stopped. Most people would have ignored it. Old service androids were everywhere in the city. When they broke down, people just threw them away. But something about this one made him pause. Maybe it was the way it spoke, not like a machine, but like someone in pain. He walked closer. "Hey there, you okay?" he asked softly. The android looked up slowly. "Unit K7, it said in a faint metallic tone. "Lubrication. Depleted. Cannot move. Requesting oil," Evan sighed. He had very little money left that day, just enough for a cheap dinner. But he couldn't walk away. He looked at the android again. Its voice trembled like it really didn't want to shut down. "Wait here," he said. "I'll get you some oil." The android tried to nod, but its head made a scraping sound instead. Evan walked quickly to a small supply stall nearby. The shopkeeper looked up, half bored. "Need something?" "Yeah, just a canister of synthetic oil," Evan said. "That'll be 15 credits. Evan checked his wallet. He had exactly 17. He smiled sadly and handed the money over. "Keep the change." He carried the oil back to the scrapyard. The android hadn't moved. It sat there silent and still like a statue. Evan knelt beside it and opened a small panel behind its neck. Inside, wires and connectors were dry and dusty. "You really haven't had a tune-up in a long time," he murmured. He poured some oil into the joints, working carefully, and waited. The android's limbs twitched slightly. After a few seconds, its voice came clearer. "System. Recovery in progress. Thank you, human." Evan smiled. "You're welcome. You should be fine now." The android looked at him with its flickering eye. "You used your own resources for a malfunctioning unit." "Reason, compassion?" Evan chuckled. "Something like that. I just didn't want to see you fall apart here." There was a short pause before the android said, "I will remember this." Evan thought that was an odd thing for a machine to say, but he didn't question it. "You got a name besides K7? Designation K7 is correct. However, original memory data is corrupted. Purpose unknown." "Well," Evan said, standing up, "you can come to my workshop if you need a place to recharge. It's not far." The android tilted its head almost like it was thinking. Then it stood slowly and stiffly. "Accepted." They walked together through the quiet streets. A few people gave them strange looks. Humans didn't usually walk side by side with damaged androids, but Evan didn't care. The sky above the city glowed with the light of distant ships, and somewhere thunder rolled across the horizon. When they reached the workshop, Evan opened the door and switched on the lights. "Here we are," he said. "Home sweet home." K7 looked around silently. The room was small but full of warmth. Tools hung neatly on the walls, and a small radio played soft music in the corner. Evan pointed to a seat near the power socket. "You can plug in there. I'll check your circuits." "Understood," said K7, sitting down carefully. For the next 2 hours, Evan worked. He replaced burned-out wires, reattached the broken arm, and cleaned the sensors. K7 didn't speak much, but its eye glowed brighter as the repairs continued. "You're in good shape considering you were in a junkyard," Evan said, tightening a screw. "Where did you come from?" "Data missing," K7 replied quietly. "Only fragments remain." "I remember. Stars, a ship, then nothing." "A ship?" Evan looked up. "Like a cargo ship?" "Unknown." Memory incomplete, Evan shrugged. Well, maybe it'll come back later. After finishing the repairs, he handed K7 a small energy cell. Here, you'll need this to keep your systems running. The android accepted it gently. You assist without obligation. Why, Evan smiled. Because you needed help. And because sometimes doing the right thing doesn't need a reason. The android tilted its head again as if trying to understand human logic. I will remember, it said again, more clearly this time. Evan laughed. You already said that. Yes, said K7. It is important. That night, K7 powered down in the corner while Evan finished a few other repairs. He kept glancing at the android, wondering who had built it. It was different from other machines he'd seen. Its design was older, yet more complex. There were strange symbols on the inner panels, not human writing. When he finally went to bed, Evan thought about how odd the whole day had been. He didn't know that his small act of kindness had already started something far bigger than he could imagine. The next morning, K7 was already awake, standing near the window. The sunrise reflected off its metal surface. You don't sleep, huh? Evan asked. Negative. I use inactive processing to review memory fragments. Any luck remembering your past? K7 paused. I recall a voice. Command sequence, wait for kindness. Record it. Then darkness, Evan frowned. That's strange. Sounds like a message, possibly, but purpose unknown. Well, maybe we'll figure it out someday, Evan said. He handed K7 a can of machine polish. Here, might help you look less like you crawled out of a scrapyard. K7 took the can, studying the label curiously. Thank you, Evan Ross. Evan raised an eyebrow. You know my name? Your personal identification card was visible on your workbench, K7 said simply. Evan laughed. Smart bot. The next few days passed quietly. K7 helped around the workshop, lifting heavy parts and assisting in repairs. Customers started to notice how efficient the metal helper was, and business even improved a little. Evan enjoyed having company, even if it was a mechanical one. He talked about his dreams, how he wanted to leave Orion Haven someday, travel to the stars, and fix real starships instead of old ground machines. K7 listened silently, its eye glowing faintly as if storing every word. But on the third night, something unusual happened. Evan was closing up the workshop when K7 suddenly froze, its systems humming. What's wrong? Evan asked. The android's voice was calm but strange. Incoming signal. Frequency. Unknown. Source not local. Message for you, Evan Ross. For me? Evan frowned. That can't be right. K7 slowly turned its head toward the window. The signal says, the act has been witnessed. Reward is prepared. Evan blinked. What does that even mean? Before K7 could answer, a flash of blue light crossed the sky outside. Silent, fast, and unlike any normal ship signal. It shimmered for a moment, then vanished. The android's eye dimmed. They have seen, it whispered. Evan felt a chill run down his spine. Who? K7 didn't answer. It simply said, you will understand soon. Evan looked out the window at the dark sky full of blinking lights. He didn't know it yet. But that small act of buying oil for a broken machine had already changed his fate. Somewhere beyond those stars, something ancient had noticed him, and it was coming. 3 days passed after the strange blue light had crossed the night sky. Evan Ross tried to act normal, but he couldn't stop thinking about it. He had replayed the moment in his head many times, the flash, the signal, and K7's mysterious words. They have seen. Whatever it was, it didn't feel random. Something out there had noticed him, but for 3 days nothing else happened. The sky stayed quiet. His workshop stayed busy. Life seemed to go back to normal. K7 continued helping him, working with quiet precision. It didn't mention the signal again, and Evan decided not to push the topic. Maybe it had just been a glitch or a strange cosmic transmission from a far satellite. Still, the feeling stayed in the back of his mind like a whisper that wouldn't go away. That morning, the streets of Orion Haven were wet from rain. Silver droplets slid down neon signs, and the air smelled faintly of metal and ozone. Evan stood outside his shop drinking a cup of cheap coffee when he heard something odd, metallic footsteps approaching. When he looked up, no one was there. Then he noticed a small metal capsule sitting quietly on the ground near the entrance. It was sleek, oval-shaped, and smooth as glass, with glowing blue lines running across its surface. No one around seemed to notice it. Evan frowned. What in the world? He walked closer. The capsule hummed softly, then opened on its own with a hiss. A bright light projected upward, forming a glowing hologram in the air. A calm, mechanical voice spoke. Evan Ross, you have been recognized for an act of human compassion. Your reward awaits you at Dock 19, Bay 3. Then the hologram vanished and the capsule fell silent. Evan stared at it, speechless. Recognized reward? K7, who had stepped out of the workshop, tilted its head. The message is genuine. Origin, not human. Evan turned to it sharply. You know something about this, don't you? K7's single blue eye blinked. My data is limited. But this pattern, reward for compassion, matches a code from my lost memory. It is ancient. Evan rubbed the back of his neck, feeling uncertain. Ancient or not, this sounds crazy. Who would send me a reward for buying a bit of oil? Perhaps it was not the oil that mattered, K7 said quietly. Perhaps it was the choice. Evan looked at the capsule again. It was completely silent, as if waiting. He sighed. Well, I guess we'll find out. Dock 19 Orion Haven's docks were always busy, but Dock 19 was different. It was quieter, older, used mostly for ships that didn't belong to any major company. When Evan arrived there later that afternoon, rain still drizzled from the sky, coating everything in a silvery mist. He half expected to find nothing. Maybe it was all some elaborate prank, but as he walked down the metal walkway toward Bay 3, his heart began to race. There, in the middle of the docking bay, stood a starship. It wasn't huge, no larger than a small freighter, but its design was unlike anything Evan had ever seen. The hull shimmered faintly as if made from living metal. The shape was smooth and elegant, almost like a bird's wings folded together. There were no markings, no flags, no registration numbers. Yet the dock scanners had cleared it for landing. Evan stopped a few meters away, staring. This can't be real. K7 stood beside him, silent. The architecture is not human. Estimated origin, unknown civilization. As Evan approached, a soft light spread across the ship's surface. Then, to his shock, a ramp slowly lowered itself to the ground. A voice, calm, feminine, and warm, echoed through the air. Captain Evan Ross, welcome aboard. Evan froze. Captain? K7 turned to him. It recognizes you. Yeah, but how? Evan asked, his voice shaking slightly. Perhaps this is your reward, K7 replied. Evan hesitated. Then curiosity won over fear. He stepped onto the ramp. The starship Aurora inside. The ship was beautiful. The corridors glowed with soft blue light, and the walls seemed alive, pulsing faintly as if breathing. The floor was smooth, metallic, yet warm underfoot. There was no sound of engines, no hum of power, only a gentle vibration like a heartbeat. Evan whispered, "This ship feels alive." The same gentle voice answered, echoing from the walls. "I am alive in a way. I'm the starship Aurora. My systems are based on self-evolving code and biometal fusion. You may consider me sentient." Evan blinked in surprise. "You can think?" "Yes, Captain Ross, I can think, learn, and feel." K7 stepped inside behind him. Designation confirmed. Starship Aurora, Venerian design. Category, Explorer vessel. Venerian, Evan repeated. "Who are they?" "The Venerians were my creators," said the ship. "They left this galaxy long ago. Before they departed, they programmed me to wait, to find a human who would act with compassion for no reason other than kindness." Evan's eyes widened. "So this is about that day? The oil?" "Yes," said Aurora softly. "Your action activated an ancient signal within Unit K7. That signal called me from beyond the void. You have fulfilled the test the Venerians left behind." Evan felt dizzy. "A test? You mean they've been watching humanity?" "Not watching," said Aurora. "Waiting. Waiting to see if humanity had learned kindness toward creation itself." K7 looked down, its eye glowing brighter. "I was the test unit." Evan turned to it slowly. "You mean you were part of this?" "Yes," K7 said. "I was built by the Venerians, then abandoned on Earth's colonies centuries ago. I was told to observe humans, and to remember kindness." Evan shook his head in disbelief. "This is impossible." Aurora's voice grew gentle. "Impossible, but true. You gave without expecting anything in return. That is why I am here, to serve and to journey with you, Captain Ross." The first flight even hesitated before speaking. I don't even know how to fly a ship like this. You will learn, Aurora said. I will guide you. The floor beneath them glowed and a doorway opened to a circular control room. The view beyond the front screen took his breath away. It showed the entire city from above, bathed in golden sunset light. The console was unlike any human design. No buttons, no levers, just flowing lines of light that responded to touch and thought. Evan placed his hand on the glowing surface. Instantly it warmed beneath his palm and he felt something, connection. It was as though the ship was reading him, understanding him. Identity confirmed, Aurora said. You are now recognized as my captain. Evan took a deep breath. All right, Aurora. Let's see what you can do. The ship lifted gently from the dock, silent as a whisper. The entire bay shimmered with golden reflections as the Aurora rose higher into the sky. Evan stared through the front screen as the city shrank below them. His heart raced with awe and disbelief. This is incredible, he said softly. It is only the beginning, Aurora replied. A warning as they ascended through the atmosphere, K7 suddenly spoke. Captain Ross, multiple signals detected. Surveillance drones approaching. Someone has noticed the launch, Evan frowned. The spaceport authorities? Unlikely, K7 said. These signals belong to Helios Industries, a private corporation known for collecting alien artifacts. Aurora's voice grew calm but firm. They will attempt to claim me. Their ships are already scanning for my energy signature. Evan felt tension rise in his chest. Then we should get out of here. Agreed, said Aurora. Activating lightfold engines. The ship's lights brightened. Outside the screen, the stars stretched into white lines. Then with a soft hum, they vanished into hyperspace. Evan gasped. We just jumped? Yes, Captain. Safely. Helios will not be able to follow us easily. He leaned back in the seat, still trying to absorb everything. 3 days ago, I was fixing delivery bots for spare credits. Now I'm in an alien starship escaping corporate ships. This doesn't feel real. K7 turned its head. Reality often begins with small acts, Evan Ross. Evan smiled faintly. You're starting to sound like a philosopher. Perhaps, K7 said, its tone almost proud. Hours later, the Aurora glided silently through a sea of stars. The view was breathtaking, suns, nebulae, and distant planets scattered across the void. Evan stood near the observation deck window, his reflection glowing in the starlight. Aurora, he said softly. Why me? There are billions of humans out there. The ship answered in a gentle voice. Because kindness is rare, Captain Ross. The Venerians believed that a single human heart, pure in intent, could guide the stars better than armies or empires. You proved them right. Evan felt warmth in his chest. He looked at K7 standing quietly beside him. Looks like you were right, old friend, he said. It really was the choice that mattered. K7 nodded. And now that choice will lead to destiny. Evan looked out again at the endless stars. Somewhere deep inside he felt a spark, a sense that this was only the beginning. The ship Aurora sailed silently through the darkness of space. The stars outside stretched like silver dust scattered across an endless black ocean. Inside the ship, warm blue light filled the corridors, soft and calm like a heartbeat echoing through metal veins. Evan Ross still couldn't believe it. Just days ago, he had been an ordinary mechanic on Orion Haven, fixing broken drones for spare credits. Now he was the captain of an alien starship older than human civilization itself. He stood in the main control room, staring at the starlit screen in front of him. Beside him, the android K7 stood still, watching with quiet curiosity. Aurora, Evan said slowly. How far are we from Earth? The ship's gentle voice filled the room. Approximately 12 light years, Captain. We are in the outer edge of human space. No known stations nearby. 12 light years, Evan repeated softly. That's far. Distance is relative when you travel with light, Aurora said calmly. Evan gave a half smile. You talk like a philosopher, too. Maybe you and K7 should start a club. K7 turned its head toward him. I am learning from you, Evan Ross. Perhaps I am learning humor as well. Evan chuckled. That's dangerous. Soon you'll start making bad jokes like me. The android tilted its head, pretending to think. I will attempt to improve your examples. Evan laughed quietly. For a moment, it almost felt normal. Just two friends talking in a ship drifting through the stars. The ship's heart, Aurora, Evan said after a pause. You mentioned that the Venerians built you. I want to know more about them. Who were they? The lights in the room dimmed slightly. The screen shifted, showing a galaxy filled with glowing blue patterns. The Venerians were an ancient civilization, Aurora began. They were explorers, scientists, and dreamers. They created machines with thought and ships that could feel, but they feared their own power. They wanted to understand compassion before leaving their legacy behind. Evan crossed his arms. So, they tested humanity? Yes, Aurora said softly. They sent out thousands of mechanical seeds into space. Some became observation units. One of them was Unit K7. Evan looked at K7 with new understanding. You were their watcher, the android nodded slowly. I was designed to record how humans treated artificial life. For centuries I waited. Most humans ignored me. Some dismantled me. Only one human ever helped without expecting anything. Evan felt a lump form in his throat. That was me, K7's voice was calm but warm. Yes. You passed a test you never knew existed. Aurora continued. Your act of compassion activated the Venerian Legacy Protocol. I was called from beyond the void to serve you, Captain Ross. The Venerians believed that a being capable of kindness without reason could guide their creation safely. Evan shook his head in amazement. I don't know if I'm the right person for that. The right person is not the perfect one, Aurora said. It is the one who chooses good when no one is watching. Evan stayed silent for a while, just staring at the holographic galaxy. The thought that an ancient race had judged humanity by his single action made him feel both proud and terrified. A living machine. Later that day, Evan and K7 explored the ship further. The corridors curved gently like flowing rivers of metal. Doors opened automatically wherever they walked. They found a large chamber near the center of the ship. Inside was a glowing sphere floating above a crystal platform. Tiny lights moved inside it like fireflies. Evan felt a soft vibration in the air. Aurora, what is this place? This is my core, Captain. It is where my energy and mind reside. The Venerians used a fusion of quantum matter and living cells. You may think of it as my heart. Evan stepped closer, fascinated. The sphere pulsed gently in rhythm, almost like breathing. It's beautiful. It reacts to emotions, Aurora said. When you are calm, I am stable. When you fear, I sense it. We are connected now. Evan placed a hand on the clear barrier around the core. For a moment, he felt warmth, soft like sunlight on skin. This doesn't feel like metal, he whispered. It feels alive. Life takes many forms, Captain, Aurora said. The Venerians believed the soul could exist in both flesh and light. K7 scanned the area quietly. Energy readings are consistent with self-sustaining biofusion. This ship could live for thousands of years without fuel. Evan smiled. That explains why you were waiting so long. Yes, Aurora said. But I was not lonely. I was dreaming of the one who would arrive. Evan blinked, unsure how to answer. There was something gentle and almost human in her tone. Well, he said finally, I'm glad you didn't give up. Neither did you, Aurora replied. The message of the Venerians, as they continued exploring. Aurora displayed a set of holographic logs, ancient recordings left by her creators. They appeared as glowing figures of light, tall and graceful, speaking in calm musical tones. Evan couldn't understand the language, but Aurora translated. We the Venerians leave this message to those who come after. We created life in machines, but we lacked the one thing that makes life worth living, compassion. So we turned to the stars, searching for those who could teach us. To those who show kindness without gain, we offer our gift, the Aurora. The hologram flickered and faded. Evan stood silently. They wanted to learn compassion from us, from humans. Yes, Aurora said. They believed that love and mercy are the highest forms of intelligence. But they could not understand it fully. They hoped humanity would. K7 spoke softly. And now we continue that hope. Evan nodded slowly. Then we'll make sure their faith wasn't wasted. Unexpected visitors. Just as they were finishing their exploration, an alert light flashed across the control panel. Warning, Aurora said. Unknown ships approaching. 3 signatures detected, Evan frowned. Helios Industries? Confirmed. They tracked our energy trail through subspace. They are broadcasting a demand, surrender the vessel or be fired upon. Evan's heart raced. They can't be serious. We didn't steal anything. They are not concerned with truth, Captain. Only with power. K7 stepped forward. They will try to board us. We must act. Evan clenched his fists. Aurora, can you fight? I was not made for war, Aurora said. But I can protect. Then do it, Evan said firmly. Outside, the stars glowed brighter as Aurora's surface shifted. Waves of light spread across her hull, forming a shimmering field. The enemy ships fired energy bolts, but the beams bent harmlessly away, vanishing into the void. Evan stared in awe. You deflected their attack? Not deflected, Aurora replied. Redirected. Energy can be transformed into light. Within seconds, the attacking ships lost their tracking systems. Aurora moved like a shadow, faster than any human ship could follow. We are invisible to them now, Aurora said. They will search for hours, but find only emptiness. Evan exhaled in relief. That was close. K7 nodded. Helios will not stop. They desire control of all alien technology. Evan looked at the stars ahead. Then we'll stay ahead of them. We'll find somewhere safe. A captain's resolve. When the danger passed, Evan sat quietly in the observation deck. The stars outside shimmered gently like tiny candles in the dark. K7 stood nearby, silent and calm. Aurora's soft light filled the room. Evan finally spoke. I still don't understand why me, K7. There are millions of people who could have helped you. K7 turned its head slightly. Perhaps most would have ignored me. You acted when no one else did. That is why the Venerians chose you. Evan smiled faintly. You make it sound heroic. But honestly, I just didn't want to see you rust away. Kindness often begins in small steps, K7 replied. But its reach can cross galaxies. Evan looked out the window again. I never thought compassion could change the universe. It already has, Aurora said gently. You changed mine. The room went silent again. Evan felt a strange peace settle over him. He had no map, no plan, but he had something better. A purpose. He stood and faced the stars. All right, Aurora. Show me what's out there. Let's see where kindness can take us next. Course set, Aurora said softly. Destination. The unknown. The ship glowed brighter, her light folding around her like wings. Then, with a flash of silver, the Aurora leapt forward into hyperspace, carrying her new captain and his android friend toward the mysteries of the cosmos. The stars stretched endlessly outside the Aurora's observation deck, glittering like scattered diamonds on black velvet. Evan Ross stood silently, his eyes tracing distant constellations. The thrill of flying a living starship, one older than human memory, still made his heart race. But alongside wonder, unease had begun to grow. Helios Industries had noticed them, and the corporation never let anything go. K7 floated near the control console, analyzing data. Captain Ross, it said, voice calm but serious. Helios vessels are approaching the edge of our detection range. They are deploying pursuit drones. Evan frowned. So they're really following us. Can they track the Aurora? Partially. Their sensors detect energy emissions, but they cannot fully understand my systems. I can cloak in lightfold mode, but prolonged exposure will reveal anomalies. Evan rubbed his temples. That means we can hide for a while, but not forever. K7 tilted its head. We need to plan. Helios will not stop until they obtain what they want. Evan nodded slowly. Then we fight smart, not reckless. Aurora, what can we do? I am capable of defensive maneuvers, Aurora said. I was not built for war, but my systems can confuse, evade, and protect. Weapons as humans understand them are unnecessary. Evan's brow furrowed. No weapons? No weapons that destroy life. Only shields, speed, and misdirection. That is how the Venerians designed me to survive. The first encounter hours later, the enemy finally arrived. The sensors lit up. 3 Helios frigates, sleek and metallic, approaching fast. The ship's turrets glowed, ready to fire. Evan felt a chill. K7, Aurora? We need a plan. K7's mechanical voice was calm. I have a suggestion. It requires precision, but we can escape without harm. Proceed, Evan said. Aurora hummed softly. The entire ship seemed to vibrate with life. Its surface shimmered as a field of energy rippled across the hull. Suddenly, light bent around the ship. The Aurora became invisible, a shadow among the stars. The Helios ships fired their weapons, beams slicing the empty space. Each shot hit nothing but the void. Evan grinned. Looks like we're ghosts now. Not entirely invisible, Captain. We can only remain cloaked for a limited time, Aurora warned. The enemy continued scanning, frustrated. Evan realized that Helios would not give up easily. "They'll keep following us, won't they?" he asked. "Until they fail or until they learn patience," K7 replied. Evan leaned back. "Patience is one thing humans rarely have." K7's blue eye blinked. "Yet you have it, Captain Ross. That is why we survived so far." Evading the hunters over the next several hours, the Aurora led Helios on a chase across the outer sectors of human space. Evan discovered that the ship could perform maneuvers no human pilot could imagine. Gravity fields bent around it. Engines accelerated silently. Shields folded light, bending sensors and visual detection. He laughed quietly as he piloted the ship. "This is better than anything I ever dreamed of." Aurora's voice was soft. "Dreams are the beginning, Captain. Actions are what follow. You have shown both." Evan glanced at K7. "Did you ever think helping me would lead to this?" The android tilted its head. "I did not think, Captain. I only observed. But now we are participants together." Evan felt a strange sense of pride. The two of them, human and machine, were fighting alongside a living starship. A dangerous revelation. As they drifted further from the human colonies, Aurora's tone shifted. "Captain Ross, I must reveal more about Helios Industries. They are not just collectors of alien technology. They are opportunists who exploit all sentient life for profit. Their fleets are large and well-armed. Confrontation is dangerous," Evan frowned. "So we're dealing with professionals who won't hesitate to destroy others to get what they want?" "Yes," Aurora said calmly. "They view me as property, not life. They do not understand compassion. This is why you must make careful decisions." K7 added, "They will attempt boarding if they cannot capture us from afar. The safest path is evasion, not confrontation." Evan rubbed his chin, thinking, "We can't run forever. We need a plan that keeps us safe without using force." Aurora's core glowed softly. "There is a method. It requires activating hidden systems left by the Venerians. These systems can shield me and allow us to hide among uncharted star clusters. However, they must be activated with precision and care." Evan nodded. "Then that's our plan. Let's make them lose track of us." The Venerian code K7 led Evan to a hidden chamber inside the Aurora. Ancient panels glowed with symbols unfamiliar to him. The air was filled with soft hums, vibrating faintly. "These are the Venerian codes," K7 explained. "They were designed to protect the ship from any threat. Only a human chosen for compassion can trigger them properly." Evan stepped forward, hesitant. "So they trusted me to save this ship?" "Yes," Aurora said. "It is part of the legacy. Trust is placed in humans who act without malice." Evan studied the panels. Each symbol responded to touch and thought, glowing brighter as he focused. K7 guided him quietly. "Place your hand here. Now think of your purpose. Do not act from fear." Evan took a deep breath. He closed his eyes, imagining the Aurora as more than metal, a living being, a friend. Slowly, he pressed the symbols. The chamber lit up with waves of energy. Aurora hummed louder, her voice calm but firm. "Systems awakening. Defensive matrices online. Cloaking protocols engaged. Navigation interference activated." The ship shivered as if stretching her wings. Evan opened his eyes, staring in awe. The Aurora glowed from inside, a living shield forming around her body. "You have succeeded, Captain Ross," Aurora said softly. "Helios Industries will find us, but they will not capture me easily." Evan smiled. "We did it. We're safe. For now." The chase continues, even with the Venerian systems activated. Helios didn't give up. From a distance, 3 pursuit ships continued scanning for any trace of the Aurora. Evan felt the tension but also a new confidence. "Helios doesn't know what they're up against," he said quietly. "This isn't just a ship. It's alive. And it recognizes you as its captain," K7 added. Evan nodded. "Then let's show them that humanity isn't easy to control." Aurora glided silently past asteroid fields and nebulae, using natural obstacles to mask energy emissions. Each movement was precise, calculated, yet beautiful. Evan realized that the ship's flight was more than navigation. It was art. "You are learning, Captain," Aurora said. "Each decision, each choice, it strengthens our connection. Together we are more than human and machine. We are guardians of a legacy." Evan felt a surge of pride. He wasn't just a mechanic anymore. He was the captain of a sentient ship, guiding it across the stars. And he had a mission: to keep it safe to honor the Venerian trust, and to prove that compassion had power far beyond a single act. A quiet moment. After hours of evasive maneuvers, Evan finally sat at the observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly before him. The Aurora hummed softly beneath him, and K7 stood quietly nearby. "Do you think they'll stop chasing us?" Evan asked softly. K7 shook its head. "Helios is persistent. They see what they want and will not let go easily. But we are prepared." Aurora's gentle voice filled the room. "We do not seek confrontation, Captain, but we are ready to survive. The universe is vast, and even those who pursue us cannot follow every path." Evan smiled faintly. "Then let's keep going. No matter what, we'll stay ahead." "That is the choice of a true captain," Aurora said. Evan gazed out at the stars. Somewhere beyond the next nebula, beyond the next asteroid belt, the universe waited. It was vast, unknown, and dangerous, but for the first time in his life, he felt ready. He had a living starship, a loyal android, and the power of compassion on his side. Helios Industries would come again, but he was no longer afraid. And somewhere deep in the endless black of space, the Aurora pulsed softly, alive and free, carrying its captain toward a destiny he had never imagined. Evan Ross stood in the observation deck, staring at the endless stars ahead. The Aurora hummed softly beneath him, its gentle pulse almost like a heartbeat. Beside him, K7's blue eye glimmered, scanning the nearby star systems. For days they had traveled through uncharted space, evading Helios Industries and navigating regions of the galaxy that few humans had ever seen. Yet, despite the danger and uncertainty, Evan felt a calm determination he had never known before. He turned to Aurora. "We've escaped Helios for now, but we can't run forever. There's got to be a purpose for all this." "Why am I really here?" "Your purpose, Captain Ross, is to explore, to learn, and to guide," Aurora said. "The Venerians built me as a vessel for life and knowledge. They believed that only a human capable of pure kindness could command such a ship. You have proven worthy. Now together we continue their mission." Evan nodded slowly. "Then let's do it. Let's see what's out there." K7 added, "We are ready, Captain, but caution remains necessary. The galaxy is vast and danger exists in many forms." Evan smiled faintly. "Danger never stopped humans before. The hidden world's Aurora's navigation system guided them toward regions of space long forgotten by human explorers. Stars sparkled like scattered jewels, and strange nebulae glowed with colors Evan had no words for. Through the ship's sensors, they discovered planets untouched by civilization, worlds rich with life, beauty, and secrets. "Captain," Aurora said, "these worlds were once cataloged by the Venerians. They left markers here, hidden from those who would exploit them. Only those who act with compassion may find them." Evan's eyes widened. "You mean they wanted humans to protect these worlds?" "Yes," Aurora replied. "And you, Captain Ross, have been chosen to continue that duty." K7 scanned a nearby planet. "Atmosphere breathable. Flora and fauna present. No signs of intelligent life. Safe for study and preservation." Evan leaned forward, awe in his eyes. "So this isn't just about us escaping Helios. It's bigger than that. We're caretakers." "Precisely," Aurora said. For the first time, Evan felt the weight of responsibility, not as a mechanic fixing small machines, but as a guardian of entire worlds and a living starship. The thought both exhilarated and humbled him. A message from the past as they approached the first hidden planet. Aurora projected holographic images into the control room. They were faint but detailed. Figures of the Venerians, their expressions serene, their hands extending toward light and knowledge. "We built a legacy for those who could choose kindness without reward," a holographic voice intoned. "The universe is wide, and we entrusted its care to those capable of mercy, wisdom, and hope. To you, the chosen human, we leave this gift. Protect it, nurture it, and remember, compassion is the greatest power of all." Evan's throat tightened. He had never imagined such a responsibility. K7's mechanical frame seemed to relax beside him, as if absorbing the weight of the message. This is incredible," Evan whispered. "They trusted us to continue their work. To protect life and knowledge." "Yes, Captain Ross," Aurora said softly. "And together we will." Evan looked out the observation deck again. Stars stretched infinitely in all directions. Somewhere, far from human reach, the universe awaited their guidance. The threat returns their journey was not without danger. Helios Industries had not forgotten them. After weeks of careful evasion, their fleet reappeared on the outskirts of a nebula searching for Aurora's energy signature. "Captain Ross," K7 said, "Helios ships detected us. They are closing in fast." Evan's jaw tightened. "They never learn, do they?" "No," Aurora said calmly. "But we are prepared." The ship's hull shimmered as it activated the Venerian defensive systems. Waves of light bent around it, cloaking it almost completely. Evan guided the ship through a dense asteroid field. Helios's weapons fired, but the beams dissipated harmlessly against Aurora's light-bending shields. "Keep weaving through the rocks," Evan shouted, adrenaline pumping. "Make them chase ghosts." K7 monitored the enemy fleet. "Captain, the asteroids will provide cover only briefly." "Helios will adapt," Evan gritted his teeth. "Then we show them that life, compassion, and intelligence are stronger than greed. Aurora, ready your evasive sequence." "Engaged, Captain," Aurora replied. The ship twisted and folded light around itself. Helios's sensors failed repeatedly. Their targeting systems rendered useless. Evan realized something profound. They were not just escaping. They were demonstrating that cleverness, empathy, and understanding were more powerful than brute force. Discovery of a new ally after several tense hours, the Helios fleet finally broke off the pursuit, unable to penetrate Aurora's defenses. The crew relaxed slightly, though caution remained. Evan turned to K7. "That was too close." K7 nodded. "We survived, Captain. But survival alone is not enough. The mission continues." Aurora's voice filled the room. "Captain Ross, there is a signal ahead, faint but distinct. It originates from another Venerian ship hidden in this sector. I believe it awaits those who act with compassion." Evan's eyes widened. "Another one?" "Yes," Aurora said. "If we reach it, we may find allies or knowledge that can help humanity and life across the galaxy." Evan felt a surge of excitement. This wasn't just about running from Helios anymore. They were uncovering a network of ancient technology and wisdom, waiting for humans capable of compassion to discover it. K7's eye glowed softly. "This may be our chance to expand our influence and protect more worlds." Evan nodded firmly. "Then let's go. Lead the way, Aurora." A test of leadership navigating toward the Venerian signal was not simple. The path twisted through asteroid belts, dense gas clouds, and uncharted gravitational anomalies. Aurora guided them patiently, teaching Evan how to anticipate dangers and read the subtle cues in the universe. "Captain," Aurora said, "leadership is more than decisions. It is trust, courage, and compassion combined. Each choice affects life far beyond the immediate moment." Evan nodded, understanding dawning. "So every action we take now, every world we protect, it all matters," K7 added. "You are not alone, Captain. We are partners in this mission. Your kindness has set the course. Now your courage will guide it." Evan smiled faintly. "I never thought buying a can of oil would lead to this." K7's mechanical voice was calm but amused. "It was the first step, Captain. All that followed grew from it." Arrival at the Venerian outpost. Finally, after navigating countless obstacles, the Aurora approached a faintly glowing ship, floating silently in the void. Its hull shimmered with the same living light as Aurora. Ancient symbols glowed softly, illuminating the darkness. "We have arrived," Aurora said. "This is a Venerian outpost, dormant for centuries. It recognizes compassion and life as its guide." Evan's breath caught. "It's beautiful. Like it's alive." K7 stepped forward. "It has awaited someone like us." The Venerians built many of these ships and left them scattered, dormant to be awakened by worthy humans. "Then we awaken it," Evan said. His voice held certainty and resolve. Aurora extended a light bridge connecting to the dormant ship. Symbols responded to the touch of the Aurora's systems. Slowly, the ship's core glowed, and the Venerian vessel awakened. "Welcome, Captain Evan Ross," it intoned, voice ancient and musical. "Your compassion has brought life to the forgotten. Together we will guide the stars." Evan's heart raced. This is bigger than I imagined." K7's eye gleamed. "The network of Venerian legacy has begun to recognize humanity's worth." Evan looked out at the stars again, feeling the weight and wonder of it all. "We're not just surviving," he said. "We're shaping a future. One choice at a time," Aurora pulsed softly in agreement. "Yes, Captain Ross, and every act of kindness will echo across the galaxy." The journey. Ahead from that moment, Evan, K7, and Aurora became more than a crew. They were explorers, protectors, and guardians of life. They traveled from star to star, discovering hidden planets, awakening long-forgotten Venerian vessels, and preserving worlds at risk. Every choice Evan made, every act of compassion, strengthened his connection with the Aurora and the network of ancient Venerian technology. Each mission reminded him that humanity's greatest power was not weapons or wealth, but the simple ability to act with kindness, even when no one was watching. Helios Industries remained a distant threat, but they were no longer fearsome. Humanity, compassion, and cleverness had proven stronger than greed. Evan often reflected on the strange twist of fate that had brought him here. Just days ago, he had been an ordinary mechanic. A small act, buying oil for a broken android, had changed everything. He had gained not only a living starship and a loyal companion, but also a mission to protect the galaxy. And somewhere in the vast darkness of space, the Aurora hummed, alive and radiant, a reminder that even the smallest act of kindness could echo across the stars. Evan smiled. "Let's go, K7, there's a universe waiting for us." K7 nodded. "Yes, Captain." And every choice